Hi, everyone. So it's great to be in this TEDx session and picking up a topic which, to all the lawyers in this room and globally, it could be the start of a thinking process. So, lawyers, the new warriors of sustainable future. Now, I started with one quote which, as lawyers, when we start our courses, we would have read this through. At his best, man is the noblest of all animals. Separated from law and justice, he is the worst. And if we go back even 900, 800 years back when Magna Carta was signed, 1215, the rule of law got established. Challenges of the society then were different. And from that era to now, whenever there are societal changes, rule of laws, those codified laws do change and try to keep the society moving ahead. Now at this point of time, I would be saying, lawyers would be the architects of planet Earth. We don't have a planet B. We at all don't have a planet B. And if we would have been reading about climate change, 1.5 degree to 2 degrees Celsius, pre-industrial era, with that temperature increase, our day-to-day functioning would become a challenge. So when in 2015 the Paris Climate Agreement came in place, India also has signed up in it, and most of the other countries. This was the seriousness. We have one planet, and we have to preserve it because the biggest impact is for its people. We have seen the advent of technology, big way, in the last 20, 25 years. Last year, when ChatGPT came in for use by all, it democratized many things. Bitcoins, wallets, crypto, from 1819 onwards, they were starting to do the disruptions. Now, as lawyers, traditionally, as career choices, civil criminal litigations, corporate merger acquisitions, IPR, patent, okay, great. But now is the time when lawyers have to be the warriors for protecting the planet and its people. It doesn't mean that young lawyers need to turn as activists. Lawyers are advocates. The advocacy is important. So here, there's so much of change which is happening in our society. Needs to have a positive voice, which will come from lawyers. Rights and structures of jurisprudence. And that's the whole purpose of today's TEDx talk. Now, AI, if we see one very important place. Artificial intelligence. It all started with machine learning, big data. Now we have generative AI, non-generative AI. We just would be seeing new language models coming up. EU came up with the EU AI Act last year. In India, we had put up a policy document in a month back, still in the draft phase. Other countries also putting regulations around it. Now, this is one place wherein the new lawyers really need to do a deep dive. AI has no boundaries. But if it loses that sense of inclusion, the aspect which was talked in the AI summit in Paris a couple of weeks before, inclusion is very important. In 2023, October, the first huge session on AI with global leaders and industry was the Bletchley Declaration, which also talked lots about the safety aspect. Last year in Seoul, the next version of Bletchley happened. Same discussion points happening, and we're seeing the lawmakers really trying to put the right legal enactments around it. So today's young lawyers would need to become a part to support the industry and the population at large on AI. It would be needed. So the perspective here is, this is something out of syllabus currently, but a great way in which, because most of the system, like the amount of energy AI is today gulping in, do we do, like we have been hearing from different global leaders, drill baby drill or plug baby plug? We use renewable sources of energy or we use traditional thermal. So the perspective is, we would be acting as warriors to save the planet and its people. The legal frameworks. As I said, 1919, ILO came up with the first convention protocol. World War I had just ended. Our challenges were different. Business and human rights aspect was very, very important. From then till now, around 47 such protocols came in. India has ratified most of them. We have built national legislations across the globe with the ILO thought process. Now, definitely as lawyers, you're consulting maybe a company. But if you just know the laws of the country and you don't have an idea how they evolve to become a law, the policy advisory which you will be doing, the checks and controls, those audits, always gaps would be there. We are seeing an aspect wherein third world countries are always talked about, you don't maintain right business and human rights balance. Things can go fairly risky for a global brand. Your wages, number of hours of working, water, sanitation, hygiene, lots of aspects come in. As lawyers, yes, we would need to be the voice maybe of that interstate migrant worker or expat worker or contract labor, in addition to the full-time employees. So yes, very important it would be for us to put those things in the right perspective. Corruption. This is again a major area in which things need to be worked by the lawyers. Like every year around the last week of January, Transparency International puts up the latest index on perception of corruption in a particular country. Now, if you're advising a client, okay, to have the entire list of all countries from where raw materials or other things are getting imported and where the company is exporting, what is the corruption index in those countries, and is currently the Indian anti-bribery, anti-corruption policy able to de-risk it? Or you would need higher standards for countries who are on more corruption index levels. If lawyers wouldn't do it, who would do it? Because if corruption comes into play, merit is sidelined. Balance struggles start. It becomes a lopsided world of haves and have-nots. And if we see through a history of last 500,000 years, revolutions have happened because of this gap of have and have-nots. So very, very important aspect wherein lawyers have to be the warriors on corruption, be it inside the court or advising a company outside. And learn these things, because fine, we might be having huge investments happening in renewable energy today. But there's a huge level of corruption. Maybe the solar modules which could have been bought, which could have lasted for 30 years, this play of corruption goes for substandard solar modules, which might last even 5 or 10 years at most. So yes, very, very important aspect in us becoming warriors for making a sustainable future. Conflict zones. 50 plus conflict zones today globally are. We don't call anything a war today, we call it conflict zones. Now, if an ex-company is doing business, earning from a particular conflict zone, that money which was exchanged as matter of providing services, anything, the local businesses are controlled by maybe the people who are perpetuating that conflict, it further leads to erosion of human rights against civil liberties. And if today's lawyers cannot get on advising clients or representing affected groups in these conflict zones, conflicts will just keep increasing. 50 plus conflict zones is no less. It's just become like business as usual. No. I think lawyers play a huge, huge role in becoming great ambassadors to make sure. Okay, now we have been reading around, there's one conflict zone wherein some negotiation is stalled because of certain provisioning of rare earth minerals. So these aspects will come in, and the best negotiators could be lawyers. Any government, politician, everyone needs lawyers to be following the rule of law, sense of jurisprudence. Very important reflection, if you all would. The two most powerful warriors are patience and time. Applies to lawyers so well. We all want to have the best living standards, safe world, prosperity, and rule of law gives lawyers the voice for it. Many of you would start your law journey graduating out of colleges. Patience and time, very important. And if you see yourself as warriors to save planet Earth and its people, and work around some of these very emerging aspects, and dedicate time, research, and have a voice around it. Technology, yes. Open source has been used, I think, in the last 20 years so much, but very few people release back those changed codes on those libraries back to the community or pay for having used open source. Who will look into it? Lawyers. We sign up on those privacy terms of these websites, portals. I agree, consent, we move. No, there is certain obligations coming out of it. Certain standard operating procedures need to be followed. And technology is evolving really, really fast. Very much appreciative of countries like Switzerland, Malta, United Kingdom, EU, who got in some enactments around digital ledger technology over the last few years. Crypto is a great technology, but they need to be made safe also. Accountability also. It cannot become a heaven for money laundering. So, in my opinion, when Switzerland came up with that detailed law, it gave lots of comfort for people to see it, the digital assets, from a different perspective than just a speculative process. And yes, world is changing, rule of law will evolve with the great innovation happening in the tech side. This is very, very important. Lawyers will be warriors to anti-imperialism. World Trade Organization, many of the UN bodies, other semi-formal institutions, all are at play that we do not get into any situation like the Cold War or too much of concentration of power at disposal to few countries. Lawyers will be very important in all those policy frameworks at the national level, at the global level, seeing how this world is evolving, our concern to save the planet, and also to make us move forward. So each year when in the COPs, the loss and damage fund is discussed, the Global North says, okay, we're contributing X amount, but the requirement is far more for the Global South. So yes, very important roles. This lawyer as the future warrior to save the planet would be needed. And if we see it in diplomacy, we would need lawyers. That training will, and those structures by different bar councils of the globe will get more in a formal manner in the coming time. Today, due to technology, we are an interconnected world. So, yes, for all the lawyers, I know there is a traditional role just to be on criminal civil matters or represent a company to buy and sell companies. The role's evolving. Politics, yeah, important, very touchy subject, but we would see, and we are already seeing involvement of lawyers with be it the right-end ideology or the left-end ideology, trying to make more structured way of running the society together, helping the politicians on being on the right side of the law. Great. The voice is working, and I think across the globe we're seeing involvement of more lawyers in either of the set of ideologies. And we would see due to it judicial reforms happening more at a faster pace. The rule making is advancing at a faster pace. So yes, it's worthwhile. And as I said, lawyers are not activists. We have a distinct voice to advocate. International relations, very important. And herein, we would be seeing more role of lawyers, not only as legal counsels of companies, but for intergovernmental agencies. Things are evolving at a very fast pace. Challenges are n number. So be it at the World Economic Forum or the COPs, we will start seeing distinct voices of representation from lawyers. Because we also have to be aligned with rule of law. So if we outsee in more treaties, now if we see from India's perspective, we will see a lot of the bilateral investment treaties which are stuck at some zones today. They will happen more in a faster manner. Our DTAs with different countries will be revisited, making India a far more affable country to work with. And it won't happen if the young lawyers do not understand what our bilateral investment treaties, both the good side and the bad side. So yes, in this budget, we did announce that till 2047, nuclear energy for 100 gigawatts. Huge investments would be needed. Technology requirements. Now there's something in the 2010 Act on the same subject of nuclear energy. Some of the global bodies have been seeing that as a challenge to move into in a big way in nuclear energy. Our lawmakers are looking into it. We'll get more new challenges over this 20 years to reach that 100 gigawatts, but the lawyers out here would make the difference to make it a seamless job. As technology transfer, IPs, they will need a focus around. And just at the end of the talk, I would just picked up something from late Fali S. Nariman's book, Before Memory Fades. The most important thing in the Olympic Games is not winning, but taking part. The essential thing in life is not conquering, but fighting well. And that's what I, again, say lawyers are the new warriors to save the planet Earth and its people. Thank you.